The recent adaptation of David Nichols's beloved novel on Netflix is providing audiences worldwide with much-needed escapism owing to its enchanting settings and the captivating chemistry between the main actors Ambika Maud and Leo Woodall. As the show continues to attract more viewers, intrigued by Emma and Dexter's intricate love story, fans are becoming curious about the behind-the-scenes details of how One Day was brought to life. If you're among those wondering, here are some intriguing behind-the-scenes secrets about the making of One Day that you may or may not have known before. White Lotus connection. You might have recognized Leo from White Lotus as Jack, the young con artist. It turns out that while filming the second season of White Lotus, Leo took a flight to London to audition for Dexter. In fact, he still had his neck tattoo on when he went in for his audition, which sent the casting director into a bit of a frenzy because Dexter doesn't exactly scream neck tattoo, does he? Thankfully, he was able to explain it was fake and Leo got casted. It was a colorblind casting. Taking a page from Shonda Rhimes and just in general trying to do better in the world, the casting call for Netflix's One Day was colorblind. Ambika Maud has stated, "They weren't looking for a particular race, they were just looking for the best person to play her, and I'm very lucky and very thankful that they thought that was me." She added, "Before we started filming, we talked about my race and my ethnicity and what that might mean for Emma." But it never really impeded or explicitly showed itself in the writing or in the series in any way because it's not a story about a young brown woman. It's a story about two people, Emma and Dexter, and their love, their friendship, and their growing up. Familiar locations. Did some of the locations look familiar to you? Sylvie's family home was shot at Hatfield House, which was previously used as a set in the Bridgerton sequel, Queen Charlotte. Incidentally, Hatfield happens to be the town where Ambika was born. It wasn't always sunny on set. The main concept of the story is that we see Em and Dex every year on the same day, July 15. However, during production, the cast and crew didn't have the luxury of filming everything in July. In an interview, Ambika says, "From November onwards is when things started to get really tricky because we were outside with no clothes on, having to look like it was a nice warm summer's evening, which was its own challenge that I didn't think either of us could have foreseen going into this." Leo adds, "There were points when we had to almost hold our breath to stop frosty breath coming out. Having watched it back, I'm very proud of us, you wouldn't have been able to guess." And how right they are. Really could not have guessed that it was so cold during those summer scenes. Arthur's Seat. For Ambika, filming at Arthur's Seat was one of her most favorite moments on set. She stated at Graham Norton's show that 3 years prior, she had climbed Arthur's Seat and was feeling lost and depressed, so climbing it again for the Netflix series felt like a full circle moment. However, the same cannot be said for Leo, who had food poisoning throughout the filming of Arthur's Seat. Good thing he was meant to look a little hungover, right? Ambika had militant vocal training to get Emma's Yorkshire accent. So if you've seen the original movie, you probably kind of remember Anne Hathaway's attempt at the Yorkshire accent.
"You think I'm uncool and dreary."
Well, to mitigate this for Ambika, she told the Huffington Post that her dialect coach, Natalie Grady, were militant in their practice. They met 3 times a week, hour-and-a-half sessions, and had to go through every single sound. She says, "I learned a really strong, authentic Leeds accent, and then we pared it down and found an accent that felt really truthful to Emma and where she was in episode 1, and then we tapered it from then on." Now, I'm not an expert on different accents and dialects of the UK, but I believe that she did a good job. The ending. As with most productions, nothing is usually filmed chronologically for scheduling's sake, and as such, the ending was shot quite early on in production. In her Huffington Post interview, Ambika says, "What's weird is we filmed the last episode at the beginning of the series. So actually, after we let go of all that, it just kind of felt like a great time." Leo also noted that there were times he and Ambika were even able to kind of forget the way the story turns out, to which he agreed, "You just get it out of the way, and then you can kind of focus on the good times." Intimacy coordinators. Ever wonder how real or raw those intimate scenes were? Well, not very, as they hired intimacy coordinators to work closely with the cast to help convey the pair's complicated relationship. Ambika told Vogue, "We all sat down and had a really in-depth discussion about the relationship, about what the intimacy in that relationship would look like and how it evolves and how it differs from the intimacy in other relationships." She then later says, "I never thought about sex and intimacy in that way before, but it was so revealing and so helpful." And there you have it, some behind-the-scenes facts about Netflix's One Day. Which fact shocked you the most? And are there any shows or movies you would like to know more about? Let me know down in the comments and I'll see you next time. Till then, stay freaky. Bye!